There's two kinds of people in this world when you boil it all down. You got your talkers and you got your doers. Most people are just talkers. All they got is talk. But when all is said and done, it's the doers who change this world. And when they do that, they change us. And that's why we never forget them. So which one are you? Do you just talk about it? Or do you stand up and do something about it? Because believe you me, all the rest of it is just coffeehouse bullshit.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Gibson. I have a website and blog called Piercing the Veil of Illusion, revealing what has been hidden in front of our eyes, in which I have extensively researched evidence for an ancient, advanced Moorish civilization with roots in ancient Mu, also known as Lemuria, hidden history, and what I believe was a relatively recent, deliberately caused worldwide liquefaction event, or mud flood, and a new historical reset history and narrative. Journalist Melanie Barris of CityGal Productions contacted me several months ago about becoming a publisher and educator on a brand new subscription-based platform. I feel honored to be invited and am excited to accept the invitation. Thank you, Melanie.
You're welcome. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you so much. I asked Melanie if I could interview her about the new platform. Can you give me some background on how Unguru came to be?
Yes. I've been in the media arts since I was a child. We've all been through World War III. I think people need to take their voices back because they've been ripped from them. It has become so infected out there, and we know why. The media wants you to think that you can't make it. We don't know who to trust. With any media, people don't understand real law. And through the Smith and Munt Act, and no matter what platform, because we are the only intentional media platform that's independent and it's a house for small businesses only, people don't realize that you can hire any company you want for posters, for publicists. They will pretend to love your product and give you reviews. It's all fake. But you've got people on average, whether it's a plumber, whether it's a professional, a number of things, just charging people enormous amounts of money for any product, service, and good that isn't even vetted and tested and can be paid for fake reviews. I mean, we have a star creation machine in any thought prison. It's getting these acute lifestyle skills, taking your voice back, healing from enormous biowarfare, which is all within us, and being business, doing business, and being global. Also, acute networking, getting acutely local in your community to know the trusted people. And that's why we will remain apolitical and separation of church and state if we want to enter into those conversations, of religion and philosophies and all of that. That's wonderful. But we need a safe place for adults to be adults and adult.
I'm really excited to be a part of this. Tell me, why Unguru? Why did you choose that name?
Because we've been led to believe that we can't be our own gurus, that we can't find our own voices inside of us, that we have to look outside of ourselves. And that is also caused by immense poisoning, genetic modification, and biowarfare. And that's not an accident why our voices have been stripped. Just with simple educations and easy, cheap DIYs to heal yourself, to protect your family emotionally, financially, and to use technology because it's wonderful, and to not let it use you, and to get off the shock and awe They don't know that anything can be made up and paid for. So that's the real reason, is we've got to get to know who to trust in a very untrustworthy world, if that answers the question.
What would you describe the mission of Unguru as?
To help people move out of the way of their fourth industrial revolution and make it ours, because we're going to see a split. And in my opinion, all of the genetic modification and biowarfare was to create and crush humanity, breed out humanity and empathy for scientific socialism. We don't know where to turn. So we have to turn within, and we have to create soul family.
So you've talked about resilience circles.
Yes.
Can you expand more on that?
I do believe that people will have to move around like-minded people. We don't have to all live in starships, and to live in our own freedoms with our own choices, but interdependent as well as codependent with one another, if that makes any sense, because we're tribal. So we want to be around people that are loving, and we can share dinners with, and we can share wine with, or we can just be our nutty self.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the farm to table database that you're putting together?
With the farmers, we are helping the chemical-free, the transparent small farmers shield themselves under a private member association, and then you just order up and deliver up. We are helping small trucking companies go into business, because I don't want to use corporations. If we turn towards each other in community and start to talk and trust one another again without being so scared, everything will be fine. It's about getting the chemical-free farmers that are having trouble with the laws because they don't know constitutionally they can legally do this. It's just a proper private member association, and the government can't come in and say, okay, you have to poison your food. And Monsanto can't come in and say you have to poison your food. We want to know that whatever farm or product we are buying from is trustworthy. Because we don't have a consumer protection agency when you can buy reviews and you can buy followers and you can buy likes. That won't happen on Unguru. So protecting our small farmers that treat their animals beautifully, we don't want to be poisoned anymore.
I've pulled together a list of Unguru topics, and I'm representing hidden history. We've covered health. It's going to cover finances. It's going to cover legal loopholes to exit all systems.
Yes.
Local networking hubs and meetups, truth in journalism restored. Like you said, small, trusted, transparent businesses and e-commerce. Arts, tech protections.
Health teachings to literally get rid of all the biowarfare that's been in us and literally heal our minds, our bodies, and spirits from the same era that you are studying, from Dr. Reif, Dr. Royal Lee, Dr. Price, and it seems kismet, because this is right in your area where it all seemed to flip.
The people that you mentioned just now pretty much got shut down by the system. The technologies they developed, alternative healing, like Dr. Reif worked with frequencies heal, that got taken out. So there's a lot more along those lines that we just haven't received because we've been part of this Western allopathic, profit-driven medical system. Homeschooling is going to be covered, right?
Yes. So we've pretty much got every life skill covered for you to take your life back, and it is not expensive. Products, services, and goods, fair wages, and when you are a member or subscriber, you do have access to all of these social media groups where you can then talk with one another and then take the educations, because we haven't been given these educations. See, well, do I really want to shock my system, or do I want to learn how to get my life back and move around like-minded people and not be afraid anymore? again, it's intentional. So our educators will have when their programs are up or when they will be in their own groups to answer questions and so on and so forth. We have to use technology and not let all of these systems use us and scare us, because that's all they're doing. They're not scary. Nobody's coming to get you.
As I made a conscious decision to start out on my own life, which was different from family expectations of me. Doing things that are unusual, and I've pretty much done that my whole life. I've made decisions that aren't conventional. I spent almost 4 years in the Army, and I met my future husband when I was stationed in Germany. He was from Texas, New Mexico area. We got married a week after I graduated from college in '89, and I moved to New Mexico a week later. So I did marriage, move, and new job in a month, and I don't recommend that. I've done major life stressors more than I can say all in one time. It's not fun. Breaking free of thought programming and the matrix, I've lived a perfect life.
Yes.
Because I've never been influenced
by
what was expected of me. My husband and I lived in Clovis, New Mexico for 5 years near his dad and stepmother and some other family. And then we made the decision to move to Fairbanks, Alaska. In the meantime, he was starting to have health problems, so it took us a little bit longer to get there, but we moved there in '94. And so I lived in Fairbanks from '94 to '99. We moved to Buffalo, Wyoming in 1999, and then he passed away at the end of 2001. We knew he was getting seriously ill, but we didn't know what caused it. And it wasn't until I moved to Sedona in 2017, when I first got here, I happened to be at the Cottonwoods Jobs Office at the right time when the VA jobs guy was there and the VA benefits guy was there at the same time. And the jobs guy said, "Hey, you need to talk to the benefits guy." I talked to the benefits guy, and I had all of my vital records with me to apply for a VA pension, because my husband was in military intelligence starting in the early 60s, and he was over in Vietnam several times. And so it was the explanation for his health problems, that he was there when he was exposed to Agent Orange. With as sick as he was, I would say he was there when they were dumping it, because he had a horrible dying process. And so the universe doesn't necessarily give you support when you want it, but it gets it to you when you need it. And so when I actually got approved for the VA pension at the beginning of 2018 in January, it changed my life, because I no longer had to work 40 hours a week to support myself.
Yes.
And I started blogging in June of 2018. It's like I've been picking up all of these puzzle pieces my whole life. I grew up outside of Washington, D.C., and I would notice things in the environment when I was a kid, and I filed them in the back of my mind. And I've lived in a lot of different places, so I've got this experience of living in different parts of the country. And in Europe, when I was in the Army, I was stationed in Germany, and I traveled a lot when I was over there. So I'm just basically picking up all this information. My circle of friends were connected to the work of Drunvalo Melchizedek, who is a teacher that brought back sacred geometry to collective awareness, because it had been removed from our awareness. And it's not just on Earth, it's also a universal kind of thing, grids and so forth. And the ancients could use the power of this grid system to generate free energy, and that's what all the architecture was in place for. If you look at what's actually in the environment around you with different eyes, the evidence is everywhere. But because we've been taught a false historical narrative, we don't see it, and we don't even think it. I've already talked to somebody that lives in California who's actively taking mud flood evidence pictures from California.
Wow.
And I want to have him on and showcase what he's found, because I'm pretty darn sure that that whole scenario we've been told about the gold rush and all this other stuff was just total cover story. And they've just, given us these flimsy cover stories to keep us fooled so we don't figure things out, so they can continue to have their way with humanity. And that's got to stop. And they can't do it without our consent. And the only way they get our consent is to lie to us. And so
precisely why I started this, is because we do have the freedom. We do have one another. We are going to have to let go of family members and friends that are too far gone. We are going to have to move around like-minded people. That doesn't mean living in anybody else's construct. If people keep fighting each other and fighting for more management teams, those people are not going to be fine. They're going to need to be managed.